Hi, and welcome to Science That Activates at Home. So, your family, like mine, might just have finished celebrating Easter this past weekend. And if you don't celebrate Easter, I hope you still stick around for some colorful fun. One of our most common traditions during Easter is coloring eggs. Now, I found myself wondering this year, how can I make my eggs brighter and more vivid? Well, today we're going to do an experiment to find out how. Are you ready? So, some context. Food coloring, what we use to color the eggs. Food coloring is an acidic dye, which means that it reacts with the element hydrogen. So for food coloring to work properly, it needs to be in an acidic environment. Can you name a couple of acids in your kitchen? Let me help you out. Here are two examples, vinegar and lemon juice. So let's start the experiment. For this experiment, you're going to need 4 boiled eggs. You'll need food coloring, but we're only going to use one color because we want to be able to compare them properly. You'll need 4 cups filled with 1 cup of water each. You want the same level of water in each cup, again, because we want to properly compare what will allow us to best color the eggs. You're going to need vinegar and lemon juice and 1 teaspoon, 1 tablespoon, and finally a tray lined with kitchen towel paper. Let's begin. So we're going to have 4 liquid environments. The first one is normal water. Water is neutral, which means that it's neither acidic and it's not basic. Our second environment is going to have 1 teaspoon of vinegar. Again, as we mentioned earlier, vinegar is an acid. Our third liquid environment is going to be 2 teaspoons of vinegar. And as we know, 2 is greater than 1, which means that this environment is going to be more acidic than the second liquid environment. And finally, we're going to have 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. So the idea here is to see how does one acid environment differ from a different acidic environment. All right, so let's create these liquid environments. So the first will just be 1 cup of water. We're not going to add anything to it. For our second environment, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of vinegar. And be very careful to try not to splash. And then the third, you're going to have 2 teaspoons of vinegar. And 2. Now, before using the same spoon, we're going to just like wash off our teaspoon. And our last environment, we're going to have 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. 1. And 2. Next, we're going to add the food coloring. Now we have to make sure that we put the same amount of food coloring in each cup. Again, so we have similar points of comparison for all 4 liquid environments. So let's put 6 drops in each cup. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alrighty. Pretty. Alright, let's mix them in. Again, between each cup, we're going to wash off the spoons. Does the color look any different between the liquid environments? So far, I would say no, right? It's a little bit more foggy in the lemon juice glass, but that's just because of the lemon juice. Okay, and now the real test. We're gonna put the egg in each glass. Again, remember, these eggs need to be hard-boiled, okay? So slowly put it in. Slowly drop it in. You don't want to create too much of a splash. Woo! Hopefully that didn't break. And last but not least, the lemon juice. All right, so now we're gonna let our egg sit in each liquid environment for 3 minutes. All right, so I let them sit a little bit longer than 3 minutes. I let it sit around like 15 minutes because I could feel like it wasn't grabbing enough color. Now, you can either let it stand longer, you can also choose to add more food coloring if you like, but if you're gonna add food coloring, make sure that you add the same amount to each cup. So, it's the moment of truth. We're gonna get these eggs out of these liquid environments. So, let's recap that the food coloring is an acid dye and it works best when it's in an acidic environment. And right now we have 3 liquid environments that have acid in them. We have vinegar and lemon juice. And we have 2 situations where you have one with less vinegar than the other. So you have one environment that is more acidic than the other. I also wanted to add that the shell of an egg has calcium carbonate, just like chalk. And calcium carbonate can react with this acid to form carbon dioxide. So sometimes you might see some bubbles forming when you add the egg to the vinegar that has the food coloring. And sometimes those bubbles can cause you to have some kind of effect on the egg coloring. Will have like little spots on them. Those are because of those carbon dioxide bubbles that formed when the egg was put into this acidic environment. But that didn't really happen before. I just wanted to let you know in case you got some bubbles in your reaction. So, are you ready? So we're gonna take each egg out and we're gonna lay it onto this paper-lined tray. Okay, so kind of what I was worried about. They're not as dark as we would like, but let's see. So this is the egg when you just have water and food color. We're gonna rinse the spoon again. And now let's look what happens with the eggs and the vinegar. So this is the egg with 1 teaspoon of vinegar. Ooh. You can already see that it looks more green. That's already good news. Now let's see when you have 2 teaspoons of vinegar, so you have more vinegar. Ooh, kind of looks like a different green. There we go. Yeah, it's a little bit of a more grassy green. So if we're looking just at the water compared to the vinegars, what do we see? We can see that the egg that was just in water barely got any of the green food coloring. But when we look at the vinegars, they both got greener. And I would like to say that the one with more vinegar was more green, right? That's pretty cool. Now, if we're gonna compare vinegar to a different acid, lemon juice, let's see what happens. So here we are with the lemon juice. Ooh. There we have it. I would say that it is pretty similar to the one with the 2 vinegars. So you have 2 vinegars and you have the lemon juice. I would say that the vinegar might be a little bit better, or maybe if we had a little bit more lemon juice, it might have been better, but I think that the vinegar is pretty powerful. But if you don't like the smell too much of vinegar, you can use the lemon juice. Well, that's it. And you know, maybe it's a little bit too late to color your eggs this year, but you're definitely armed with a great trick for next year. Bye.